Yeah, let's welcome back to the Sports Show. Well, the warmer weather comes out bad, so we get around the River Torrens a bit and we see the rowers out, because we don't get down there in the winter when they're really working out. We just go in the summer when it's nice and warm. So we thought we'd find out a bit what's going on in the world of rowing. So we went straight to one of the masters, the senior coach of the Torrens Rowing Club. Izzie Day joins us. Iz, thanks for coming in.
No worries, thanks for having me.
Hey, let's start with your journey first. 2010, you started high school, get involved in rowing. What drew you to rowing?
To be honest, I think it was peer pressure that got me into it in the first place. We had a small rowing program at my high school, my public high school, and they wanted kids to come along and give it a go. And so Mum was like, yeah, you should go try rowing. So I was like, okay, I'll go try rowing. And then 10 years later, here we are. So I rowed all through high school, and we had an awesome time. It was really kind of character building for me. And I was captain there and just had, a really fantastic time. And then after I finished rowing at high school, I went and did a little bit of club rowing with Adelaide Uni Boat Club until I moved to Canberra to start a little bit of uni, rowed a little bit there, and then it was like -5 degrees in the winter there, and I was like, Then I moved back to Adelaide to do some more study and picked up some coaching again with my old high school, and then pretty soon after started with Torrens, and
Kept going.
Yeah. Do you get picked out? These programs that are in the schools now, I know a lot of sports go around to the schools and they try and identify somebody who might be a good rower or a good runner or a good gridiron player, if you like, or whatever. They do that. Is that how you got selected? They put you in a boat or put you through a test and they go, hey, you're a chance.
I wish that was the case.
Yeah.
I was never like a star athlete. I did a little bit of kind of the talent ID stuff, but never really made it too far. But I'm kind of the strong belief that an athlete, especially young people, can have success in rowing in a lot of different ways, and not just like you get on the Olympic team. Like that's amazing and fantastic. But for a lot of young athletes, particularly rowers, it's all about what can you learn from the sport? What skills can you pick up that aren't just moving a boat? It's about how your character develops and how the skills that you pick up from it. I was never really a star athlete, but I really liked it.
Yeah, you're talking about life skills, but you're also talking about pathways. Now you were involved with the South Australian Women's Pathway 8. Tell the viewers a bit about Pathway 8.
Yeah, so every year, our summer season lasts from October through to March, and at the end of March there is a national championships and a couple of big events that we all train for. And so every year all the states in Australia put together a state team. So they have an open men's and women's 8, they have a youth men's and women's 8 which is under 21, and then they have the Pathway men's and women's 8 as well as some lightweight boats. And so the Pathway 8s are all school age kids who have shown some talent, and they go through this selection process kind of starting in October and going all the way through, and then they end up racing as their final selected crew in April each year at junior trials. There's a big thing called the Pathway Regatta that all of the states send through their kind of school-aged 8, the best school kids in their state that they can put together. And so I was lucky enough last year to be selected to coach that boat, which was just an incredible experience and a really good development opportunity that Rowing SA had put together for young coaches in the state. And unfortunately, we didn't get to race because COVID hit in about late February, early March, and trials are in April, and so we didn't get to race, but we did have a really good time training, and I learnt a huge amount from that boat.
I want to come back to it and talk about your time in pairing, and especially with one of the para athletes, but when you talk about 8 in a boat, people look at that and they go, gee, that seems pretty easy, 8 people, but tell us how difficult it is to get the timing of those 8 to work together.
When you look at it on videos or wherever, it looks easy because they're good at what they do, and if you can make a boat go, that's awesome. But any person who's picked up an oar can tell you how difficult it is to find the finesse that you need to be able to work with 8 other people in your boat to make everything move kind of smoothly and efficiently. You need kind of fine motor skills. Really, it's about kind of getting the oar in the water in just the right way and making sure you can feel the boat running underneath you and feel the other athletes in the boat so that you're all working together. And if you don't have that, then it can be a really frustrating time. But a lot of finesse.
Wow. What about the personalities in that 8? Sometimes, and we talk about it in footy or basketball, whatever the team sports are, where you go, this athlete isn't quite as good as that one, but he suits the team much better. Same in rowing?
Totally. Yep. There are some personalities that you'll get into a boat with and they're bright and energetic and they are really productive for the boat. And there are some people who, no matter how good they are at rowing, they will always bring the boat down because they're picking on other people, they're yelling, they're just getting frustrated. And really it's about trying to build a culture in your program, in your team, in your boat that means that everybody's working together and everybody's contributing, I guess, in a really positive way.
So excuse my ignorance here, but when the little fella sits down the front there with his fog on, giving him a bit of hurry up, what is he called? The cox, is he?
Cox.
Yeah.
Coxswain, coxswain.
Who gets that job? Why do they get that job?
The lucky ones.
Lucky ones, yeah. The ones that
are smart.
Ones that can enjoy the ride.
That's right.
But,
That's right.
Because they are going for it, aren't
Totally,
they? They give
yeah.
it to them. They give it to the crew. That's always
absolutely.
got me. I always think to myself, if I was sitting within earshot of him, I would punch him straight out of the boat because he's yelling at me so much.
Yeah.
Break here.
Yeah.
That's a tough gig, isn't it? I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
And he's the first to go in the water if they win anyway.
That's right. That's exactly
also the
right.
lightest.
Bad either way. Coxswains are really, really vital, especially in an 8, even cox 4s and cox quads, which we do a lot with our younger athletes. Their job is to, number one, look after the safety of the athletes. So they sit there and do the steering and they give instructions to everybody and you know that they're the leader in the boat. They're the person who is basically a conduit for the coach. So they give feedback on what the rowing's like. They give out cues that the coach has told to them. They're in charge.
So if he is sitting there at the front of the boat and he can see down there number 4, who's Phil Smythe, who's just not pulling his weight, as usual.
Classic.
Very unusual.
Does he have a crack at him?
Yeah, well, look, it's an art, and it probably depends on who's in your boat. If you've got a big group of men or whoever who they really like kind of tough love. Like they think, yep, okay, this is my performance today, and they really see it black and white. That might be a productive thing for a coxswain to say, 4-seat, you're out of time, or 4-seat, you're skying a blade. And then for someone else or another crew whose personality needs a little bit more kind of smooth communication, you might just say it to the whole crew first, and then if they still don't get it, then you might gently. Yeah.
Hey, we're going to run out of time, but I want to talk to you about the Torrens Rowing Club because you're the senior coach there. Tell us a bit about if we want to get involved. So Baz wants to come down and row for the Torrens Rowing Club. How would he do that? Yeah,
so Torrens is open to anyone from early high school all the way up through to masters. So we have a really big range of programs for people. If you want to get involved, you can jump on our website, just Google search Torrens Rowing Club, where there's a big kind of group of really, really passionate people there who love their rowing and some experienced coaches that I'm really lucky to work with. We have a really good group of kids that we're doing with the youth squad, and the masters are doing a really good job too. And we have some para rowing as well. So if you're, a para athlete wanting to try something new or whatever, then come.
You've done a pair swim. I know that we're getting the wind up here, but I just want to quickly talk about Anu Francis. You did some pair rowing with her. What was that experience like?
It was mind blowing for me. Like I said before, I was never really a star athlete, in high school. But with Anu, she rows with SASS. She's an athlete with them, a para athlete, and she needed a pair partner to help her qualify for the national team, which, as we all know, this year, the Olympics didn't go ahead. So we trained together for a couple of months, and we went to New South Wales State Championships in that boat and actually got rained out on race day. So we never actually raced it, but it was incredible to work with her and her coaches, and it was, fantastic experience.
Izzie Day, our special guest from the Torrens Rowing Club. If you've got a daughter or if you want to join yourself, son, get down. Torrens Rowing Club, Google them up. Izzie, appreciate you coming in.
Thanks.
Stay with us. Still plenty to come.